Welcome to another episode, everyone. This LA podcaster says that LA gang members are deathly afraid of Southsiders. They are deathly afraid of Mexicans. We've seen this sort of rhetoric before. Just played it for you where Snoopy Badass said that the blacks in LA in particular are deathly afraid of Mexicans. And now we have Poetic Flacco with the same assessment. He's sort of said the same thing before, but he's referring to, of course, these two individuals from Compton Crip and this hood vlog that has went viral, if you will, where they were indeed clearly pressed by some Hispanics that jumped out the car and asked them where they were from. Poetic Flacco, well, he's having a field day breaking this down, saying that had it been some blacks that did this, jumped out the car, their reaction would have been different. But since it was Hispanics and these individuals are deathly afraid of Hispanics there as it relates to Los Angeles, California, and these tough gang members, they bow down. This is his take. Let's get into it. Poetic Flacco.
Two untrustworthy hooligans did an interview with this aspiring hood vlogger called Rodney in LA. And during this interview, these two hooligans were popping it, bro. All right, they was calling themselves trophies, telling Rodney that they really be stepping.
Basically like a trophy kind of.
Hell yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Me, I think myself a trophy, you feel me? You feel me? Cause like, I'm putting on for the hood, you feel me? And I really step, bro. Like, and you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I really do it. In Crip, I'm whooping his ass. There, homies. I'm putting paws on it. Swear to God, when I got to high school, that's when I really started squabbling. She got my squabble up. I'm not even gonna front. Hell, I'm keeping the band. Middle school, y'all had me. But now, yeah, homie, come try that shit.
He's young, and you could tell he's new to gangbanging because he still got that twinkle in his eyes. The twinkle is promise. He still has hope for life. By 25, that hope and that twinkle is gone. He'll be a full-out junkie, a full-out retard on the corner of the block, smoking Black and Miles in 30-day-old draws, trying to find people to harm and rob. But right now, he still has promise. He still thinks this gangbanging stuff would take him far. He'll figure out pretty quickly gangbanging ain't taking him nowhere. Right? He'll be a bum on the side of the road soon. All right, that's just a fact here. Now, during this vlog or this interview, he was popping it about how much of a stepper he is. He even said, go ask the people who know. They know what I do. He even said he a trophy. He even told people, yeah, come and try it if you want to try it. So when he says he really be stepping, he was bragging about bringing harm to other people who look like him. Stepping means shooting. Bringing violence to people who look like him, other kids who look like him. And he's bragging about this. Now, that's the problem that we have when it comes to black gang members in LA. They are the biggest, baddest, toughest people on the planet when dealing with other black people. But like we will see very shortly in this interview that when the Mexicans show up, right, looking for the violence that they got, looking to test that temperature, the temperature got calmed down. Not only did the temperature got calmed down, they presented themselves as an ally to the Mexicans. These are the same people who are out here every day shooting and killing other black people who look like them.
Get this free first. I got it tatty, dead homies. And my brother really a low. Yeah, man, he a young nigga. You see the 5 right here, really 155. What's up? What's the deal?
What's the deal? I'm
from ATF Compton Crip. I'm from ATF Compton Crip.
This is the first thing they learn in gangbanging school. They literally rehearse this in the mirror every night before bed after getting a put on. This is gangbanging 101. When somebody asks you where you from, you gotta puff your chest out, put some bass in your voice, and rep your set, cuh. Let's pretend to be dum-dums for a second, okay? As if we're actually dumb enough to join a gang.
I mean, they certainly was turned up in that response, right? And as I said in my video yesterday, I believe it was, they pretty much, yeah, they are, trained to do that. From day one, hey man, somebody hits you up, you gotta rep your hood aggressively, strongly. Where you from, bro? Oh man, I'm from Whoop-de-Whoop. That's not gonna work, right? I'm from Whoop-de-Whoop. You see it all the time in jail, in prison. Where you from, bro? I'm Whoop-de-Whoop for Whoop-de-Whoop. I mean, just damn, all right, bro. You know what I mean? But, that's how you going to rep your hood. So these dudes pull up, the Mexicans, as we see, and they jump out and they press it. Dude got his hand in his shirt, bro. They got the hammer. Understand that. That's for sure, 10 trillion%. They got the hammer. And they about to draw. Believe that. And them dudes, they get aggressive. They in front of the camera, as I said in my video. They in front of the camera, and I felt like it was a put on. I only say that because of what ended up happening. They lost all of that aggression soon thereafter. So the response was just for the cameras, as far as I'm concerned. And, this is just it's just second nature. Where you from, bro? I'm from ATF Compton Crib. I'm from ATF Compton Crib. First, the little rapper dude said, oh boy, follow suit. ATF Compton Crib. Like that's, like they, no, that's not going to turn these dudes around. Oh, okay. My bad. And go get back in the car. They kept coming. What? So? F Compton. They said, F Compton, they said. What now? Y'all all big and bad and aggressive. ATF Compton Crip. Okay, F Compton. Let's just get right to it. F Compton. Instead of saying, man, why y'all getting all tough and aggressive and, we just asking you where you from, whatever. They just got right to it. Okay, F Compton. What's up, bro? What y'all doing over here? Still coming with his hand in his thing, with his hand in his shirt. And then, these dudes did get to saying some more other stuff.
If let's say you join 19th Street Crib, okay? When somebody comes and asks you, where are you from? I'm from 19th Street Crib. I'm from 19th Street Crib. All right, that's how you're supposed to react, and that's what they practice in the mirror. But the rehearsal only go as far as I'm from 19th Street Crib. The rehearsal don't go further than that. You don't rehearse what you do next if, somebody isn't receptive, to your chin, right? Because in their minds, everybody would, automatically just be terrified because the game maker said, I'm from 19th Street Crib. And in their mind, in their rehearsal, the other person would say, all right, bro, cool, you a joint. But this is not how that went, okay? The Mexicans don't really, get intimidated that much by black gang members, all right? They've been spanking them since the 60s, all right? They sons, okay? Like, they've been putting black gang members over their lap and giving them a spanking. So when they see two little brats scream, I'm from Hinton Crib, they see food. So they pressed their issue and told them, F what they repping. And that's when we seen all that energy they have for other black people. It went down. It was nowhere to be found when the Mexicans brought the real issues to them.
Hell yeah.
I'm from ATF Compton Crib. I'm from Compton, California. Yeah. That's how y'all feel it?
Yeah. Sup?
Hell yeah, y'all.
What are you guys doing right here?
We just doing a little interview.
You guys are rappers or what?
Yeah, I'm a rapper.
A-gang.
That's A-gang. I got it right here. You see it's on my neck.
Salute.
I'm A-gang too. I f with my Mexicans and all that. They're homies.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different story than ATF Compton Crib. F Compton, homie. What y'all doing over here? Fuck all that. Let's get to it. F Compton. Steady coming, got his hand under his shirt though. Steady walking towards. Okay. That didn't just turn us around and put us in the car. That old tough ass, we from ATF Compton. Okay. Let's get right to it. F Compton, homie. What's up? What you doing over here? You guys rappers or something? Like I said in my video, gave him a lifeline, gave him a way up. Yeah. And they took it. Yeah, man, I'm a rapper. He is. I was hearing people saying in the comments and all that. He got music and all that. They went and listened to his song, say it's kind of hot. So he really is a rapper. OBZ4, whatever his name is. But damn. You just said you from ATF Compton Crip. They said F Compton. And you said, I'm from Compton, California. Compton, California. What hood, bro? Compton, California. Oh, man. Then they gave him a lifeline. Y'all, what you doing over here? No interview or what? Yeah, man, just doing an interview. You guys rappers or what? Yeah, I'm a rapper. Okay, on this A gang. You know. I'm from A gang too. Look, I got a tattoo right here on my neck. I fuck with my essay partners on their dead homies. Damn, what happened? But me personally, I understand. I'm making light of it, but I understand them dudes were really in danger in that moment. Bottom line. And, you know, you play tough if you want to right then and there and escalate the situation and you ain't got no hammer yourself. You know you out there slipping, you're not prepared. That's your ass. So really, they kind of played it right. They played it safe. You can say they got marked out. They probably did, you know. But they made it home. You know, you play tough if you want to in that situation. My suggestion would be to get the hell out of that situation however you got to. Hey, man, I don't want no problems, man. You know, you can, hey, please, you know, and then come back and handle the situation later when you're in a better position, when you're not slipping, when the odds are even. But playing tough right now, bringing a knife to a gunfight, or hell, not even a knife, and they damn sure got a gun, you're in trouble. But some people are going to say, hey, you shouldn't be out there doing a hood vlog, playing tough, throwing up your hood, talking about you a trophy and all this. If you're not strapped, if you don't have a blammer on you, or if you're not ready to die for it then. You shouldn't have got pressed like that. Regardless if you had a strap or not, you shouldn't have got pressed like that. Now, I don't know. I get the gist of what Poetic Flacco is here saying, that had it been some black gang members that pulled up, or he's about to say that, but that's what he's, you know, that's the whole point of this. His video is saying that the black gang members in Los Angeles, California do not have the same energy for the Mexicans that they do for other black gang members. And again, this has been talked about more recently on the internet. But I'm not so sure that if it was some black dudes, their response would not have been the same. Shit, mine would have. Because I know I respect black dudes as well with a hammer that's jumping out talking about where you from. And I tell them, and they say, man, fuck your hood. What you doing over here, bro? And he steady approaching me. Shit, I ain't looking at the fact that, hell, a black dude too. Hell no. Shit, you know, they'll pop off too. I get what he's saying, though.
What you want to call?
Oh, shit.
I met you in Bassett.
What's up?
I remember.
What's up? When are we doing something? Huh?
Not on that. Yeah?
Damn, what's up?
Yeah.
You're good.
You're good. Hell yeah.
You're good. Everything running. You're good though.
Nah. We didn't just see the infant Lokes get marked out like that. The Mexican port. Where are you from? I'm from ATF Crib, Compton, eh. And then Mexican said, man, F Compton. And said, that's how you feel? That's how you feel? Huh? If the Mexican was a brother, they would have been tripping. They would have been tripping. And then what really blew me was the Mexican said, man, A-gang, F Compton, A-gang. And
But again, I'm not so sure about that. And that's exact same scenario, the exact same. I think that the response would have been the same. It would have been the same from me. If they were black, white, or anything, it would have been the same response. Whatever my response was to them. In that situation, in that moment. Because again, regardless of the color of the individuals that are jumping out the car, if they're jumping out and they're saying F your hood, and they're steady approaching and coming towards you, and putting his hand in his shirt, and it don't matter shit. What you think the brothers won't pop off? You know how many brothers have lost their life to another brother jumping out in that same situation and dude popping off on them? How many videos have we seen on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, brothers popping on each other for lesser stuff for no reason? Nah. In that situation, even if it was some brothers, I'm saying, and they steady coming, saying, man, F you, woo, this whoopty-whoop. Homie, what you doing over here? And they say putting their hand in their shirt. Man, shit. I'm sure their response would have been the same. I don't think they would have said, well, F your hood. You know, I don't think so. I could be wrong. And I get what he's saying. I get exactly what he's saying. I really do. But I just think in that situation, that the response probably would have been the same. Again, it would have been from me. If they take brothers lightly like that and think shit is sweet and, gonna get, puff their chests out at the brothers that's jumping out in that same situation, aggressively coming with their hand in their shirt, talking about, what's up, bro, what you doing over here? F your hood or whatever. And you thinking you finna say, well, F your hood, and you ain't, okay. You get popped on.
He said, I'm A-gang too. Now you changing your gang. Now you A-gang. You not ATF crib no more. Now you A-gang. Now you part of a Mexican hood now too. And afterwards, he had the nerves to still pop it, to still throw up the set, as if we ain't just see him get marked out. Both of them got marked out, right? But at least the other one, once he got marked out, he was done. But the other one was still popping it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for coming.
For surely. I ain't gonna lie, I appreciate you for having me. No cap.
Who was I here with today?
BZ2JG from the 16 Management, you already know, man.
That's the really full legendary, yeah.
I'm not just gonna make the Mexican gang members look like they are just like superhuman. Those kids were like 18, 19 years old. Those were grown men. So I'm not gonna make it sound like, they just so superhuman and so tough. Like, they're not Brock Lesnar or nothing. But we still gotta sit back and gaze in awe that the infantiny lokes who be stepping, who be doing harm and victimizing other black folks, fold it, turn it down. We ain't see none of faux legendary when the Mexicans pulled up, though. Now, civilians, this ain't our fight, okay? This is not our fight, all right? We get along, okay? Civilian Mexicans and blacks, we get along. The gang members are the ones who don't get along. So we gotta spectate and give commentary and point out the hypocrisy. Now, listen, a lot of y'all feel bad because, they're young gang members. Man, listen, man, young gang member, old gang members is a gang member. We don't discriminate. We don't care, all right? It's F them all, okay? Young, old, infant, we don't care, all right? All right, we're not giving you any passes because you're young. No, all right? No. Now, I'm going to say this, okay? They're young enough to where we could probably have compassion for them and say, hey, man, this is not the way, right? You guys are young. Y'all are handsome. You're charismatic. You have your life ahead of you. You could do anything you want to be. Why would you choose to be a gang member? That's the most embarrassing thing you could ever call yourself as a young black man in America. That's the most embarrassing thing you could ever call yourself. Why do it? I have a confession. The reason why I don't feel too much sympathy for these kids is because deep down inside, when I see an altercation between a black gang member and a Mexican gang member, I'm secretly rooting for the people who are least likely to victimize me and people who look like me. I'm rooting against the people who are very likely to victimize me and people who look like me, who are very likely to murder somebody who look like me and somebody in my family. I'm rooting against the people who make it difficult for, my cousins and nieces and nephews to play at the park. I'm rooting against the people who make it impossible for my grandmama to go to the store at night by herself. All right? And PSA to all black non-affiliates and civilians out there. Okay, when you're deciding who to root for between black gang members and Mexican gang members, I think you should root for the outcome that brings you the least stress. You should root for the outcome, all right, that brings you the least oppression, that brings you the least obstacles. Root for the outcome that eliminates the most obstacles in your life, okay? And I feel like we all know what that outcome is, Right.
Well, I mean, this is what happens when you're from North Dakota, you know, and you don't understand the history of LA. You just profit off of LA culture and the gang culture and make your money talking about the very people that you despise. And when you don't know the history, then you don't know that, when these wars were happening with the Southsiders in LA, yes, your family would not have been able to walk to the store. You would not have been able to walk to the store, whether you were a gang member or not. They were attacking everything black, civilians, gang member or not. It was a race issue more than a gang issue when these things were happening. Believe that. And it was unsafe for any black person at that time to walk the street in certain situations and in certain neighborhoods. No matter who you were, if you were a gang member or not. So this is really just shameful. And I was on his side for a minute, but this is someone who's, this is how much you respect this individual. I'm gonna be careful of what I say. I'm not even gonna say too much, man, but it's pretty disrespectful, and to the black race, period, as far as I'm concerned, to sit here and say that, in the midst of a situation, a conflict between some brothers and some Hispanics, you will be rooting for the Hispanic to do something, violent, hurtful to the brother. Who will be able to say this from another race about their own race, that they're rooting for the other race, and still be welcome into their community? Only us, bro. Only black people would allow something like this to come out of someone's mouth and still chill with this individual or still welcome him in. I'm just going to leave it there, man.
We all know who to root for. I'm not going to say it out loud, but we know who to root for. All right? If you don't...
Okay, well, the people that you're rooting for, you need to go over there with them. You need to go to their community. You need to team up with them, see if they accept your ass. You need to be over there with them. Don't be over here don't be claiming you're black. Understand that black gang members are still black people. They are welcome in the community. They're still our people. And none of us are perfect. If you were from LA, you would understand this. You would know this. But he doesn't live in LA anymore. So, but he still comes. He goes to No Jumper. He does, he does whatever he does. It is what it is. I'm not, as I said, and I'm not taking any of this personal. I really am not. Certainly the gangbanging stuff that he's talking about, the gangbanging part, or that they're afraid, or would have handled it different had it been some brothers or what have you. As I've said before, I agree with many things that he says about the gangbanging culture. I just don't think he should be the one saying it since he's not a part of it and it's not from LA originally. That's it. Especially not when he's castigating and denigrating an entire culture that he profits off of, that he benefits from. And I just think it's a fine line, but this is him, this is Flacco. I let him do his content, man. I have no issues with him personally. I'm using his content right now to react to, so I have no issues with you, Flacco. Personally, like I said, I agree with a lot of stuff that he says. Just this last part just threw me off. Perhaps it's just my race pride. But to hear someone saying that they would go against their people for whatever reason, it's a shock to my senses. It's a shock to my soul. I don't care who said it. If it was someone from another race that said this about their own people, I would say that this dude was a traitor, should be prosecuted in the streets for treason.
Want to hear kicking, cacking, being booed. If you don't want to come home from a long day at work and see hooligans outside your crib, smoking Black and Mild, smelling funky, outside all day, blah, baby. If you don't want to hear that kicking, cacking, being booed nonsense, bro, you know who to root for. Now, a lot of people is already quick to.
But the thing is, what I don't understand is, how are the Hispanic gang members any different? Or how are they any better than black gang members? Hispanic gang members have beef with other Hispanic gangs. They come together in prison under one umbrella and all that. We get all that. They have beef with each other on the street. They unalive each other. I've played some of the videos where they have beef with other gangs. It's only a few Hispanic gangs that have beef with black gangs. A couple of them, most of them Peachtree. I mean, literally a few out of the hundreds of gangs, thousands of gangs in LA. It's 3 or 4 that have beef with Hispanic gangs. So the rest, yeah, blacks are beefing with other black gangs. So that's who's going to be, they're going to be unaliving one another. They're not beefing with Hispanic gangs. Hispanic gangs are not beefing with black gangs, except for the few that are. The others are beefing with other Hispanic gangs. And guess what they're doing? They're knocking off one another. This is how it works. And the same can be said for every gang, for every race, bro. The same can be said for every race. Who is unaliving Asian gang members other than other Asian gang members? So this is just the nature of the game. And as I've said before, so that we are explicitly clear, because people always talk about this black on black crime and black men unaliving one another and black men only unaliving other black men. And this is, of course, true. The statistics bear this out. However, it comes with a caveat. We all need to understand that the same is true for every single race. Every single race. Google it. Look it up yourself. Find the statistics that show that, I forget the exact percent, but 93% perhaps, a huge number, right? 93%, that's close to 100, of white people who are deleted, killed, murdered, are killed by other white people. Not black people, not these crazy thug gang members. It's not a racial thing. They're killed by other white people. 88, 89% of Hispanics who are unalived by other Hispanics. The same as for Asians, Chinese, and everyone else, man. And so it's not an astounding statistic that when a black person is deleted, more than likely he's deleted by another black person. This is the norm with every race, with human nature. And it is because when you use your common sense, you realize that you hunt where you're at. As I've said before, when a black person gets into it with someone at the grocery store, at the liquor store, at the park, walking down the street, he gets into it with another black person because this is who is in his neighborhood. And so when that conflict escalates into a killing, chances are it's going to be another black person that committed the killing because this is who you have to conflict with. And the same can be said for a white person. When a white person gets into it with his neighbor, and it escalates, and the conflict escalates into an unaliving, his neighbor is not a black man. So the person that unalived him is of his own ilk because this is his environment. Black people are not migrating to other neighborhoods and unaliving other people from other ethnicities because this is not who is in their neighborhood and who they're having a conflict with. In the Congo, they fight each other. When an Iraqi dies, guess who did it? Not a black man, not a black gangbanger. He didn't kill an Iraqi. Another Iraqi killed. See how many Russians died at the hands of black people, or as opposed to Russians dying at the hands of other Russians. And you will see that it's the same everywhere. In every race, every ethnicity, every country, the unalivings are predominantly going to happen between the same ilk. Period.
Rest of the internet and claim that this is an anomaly, that the Mexican gang members only pull up and did this because they were children. But I've seen an interview recently where a reputable, real gangbanging legend in LA County called Snoopy Badass, where he said, yo, I grew up in LA County my entire life. And yo, when it comes to LA County, black gang.
You know, and this is not about Snoopy Badass. I have nothing against him, but he's not an OG, real reputable killer gangbanger like he's saying. He has all kind of smut on him, and they saying he can't come to his hood, bro, that he's a snitch. So Flacco gets on here and says this kind of stuff and gives someone credibility and credit, and now about to denigrate and castigate some people and say that this castigation is credible because it comes from this person who's so credible. But I must let you know, I'm from LA. No, he's not. No, it's not like that. Okay, for one. And for two, again, bro, you're not from LA, so you haven't been a part of some of these wars. Because I can tell you about some of these wars. It was going back and forth. I can tell you about some individuals, some brothers, some blacks, some gang members who have the death penalty for putting in work when this shit was going up. But I don't want to rehash all that and bring all that up, but to keep suggesting that, you know, the brothers in LA are somehow scared of anyone, you're really barking up the wrong tree. It's just untrue. Now, things are watered down now, as we see. They're watered down everywhere. But, this sort of rhetoric is something that I wouldn't have the gall to say, but that's because I know better, because I'm actually from LA. And I know that this sort of rhetoric will come back thinking that all these dudes are a joke. They're not. So I'll let him go with his rhetoric.
Members are terrified of Mexican gang members.
Like, them don't want to go to war with them SAs, bro. Don't want to go over them. I'm going to keep it real. Like, I be thinking most blacks is scared of they scared of them. Because, like, the SAs, like, let me give you a scenario, right? The SAs can, a black hood can have been in LA for years, decades, right? Soon as an SA buy a few houses on the block in their hood, guess what? Now that's their hood. Y'all got to share the hood with the Hispanics. And the blacks don't go to war with them or nothing. I didn't see blacks not even go to war with them, right? Feel me? And when they do go to war, they always be friends with them first, right? But let a black family move on the block and say, man, we started our own crew right here. This our hood too. They're going to be trying to mark them out, shoot them out, punk them, do every most blacks be cowards, bro. Black gangbangers.
That doesn't even make any sense.
That's what would happen. Most black gangbangers are cowards. That's why they're gangbangers. That's why they're gangbangers and they marks. What you say?
So you would treat your own people differently than you would treat anybody else.
Boy, blacks are scared of everybody but their own people, bruh.
That's wild, man.
They scared of everybody but their own. They not gonna do nothing. Man, any one of these hoods, a Hispanic can set up shop in their hood right there and then all them black gangbangers gonna work their way around them, bro. That's what I be trying to tell them, bro. The streets is dead. Ain't no street code. All this shit is an illusion, bro. Feel what I'm saying? Gangbangers are cowards, bro. If you a threat and they know they can't get away with, they gonna leave you alone, bro. Why you think gangbangers are scared of the police? Because why you think they're scared of the police? because they know they not ready to fight them or shoot it. They not ready for that, bro. They scary, bro. For me, like, it's that slave mentality that's embedded in our DNA, bro.
He said it, not me. You got a problem, you got to take it up with Snoopy Badass. All right, so the excuse of, man, Flocko, you not no gang vet. Well, hey, Snoopy Badass said it. He a gang member, so what's the excuse now? Now, civilians, black civilians, Mexican civilians, let's not involve ourselves with this nonsense. We get along, all right? It's black and brown unity among us. If gang members want to infight, let them infight, bro. We have nothing to do.
And again, this is where he's wrong at, because most of the conflict, when there is conflict with the Hispanics, it had to do with race, and gangbangers took up the cause. Gang members were involved, fighting and shooting and trying to protect y'all, trying to protect the community, because as I said, no one could walk the street at that time. They were attacking and shooting at every black. It did not matter if you were a gang member or not. And y'all were calling on the gang members to show up with weapons and protect y'all ass. And that's exactly what they were doing. And if you were here then, if you were involved, then you know. But since you're not and you're from North Dakota, you don't know. You just talking and running your mouth and don't know what you're talking about, bro. That's the bottom line. Now, again, I understand some of what he said and some of what Snoopy Badass said. I agree with Snoopy Badass with some of the things that he had to say in the video. I'm not sugarcoating anything for anyone, and I'm going to call it how it is myself. And I agree with some of this, but it's not, a lot of it I do not agree with. It's not about fear. And I've seen some of the wars. I've been involved in some of the wars in the prison system, in the county jail, and on the street. And the blacks were holding their own in these wars, bro. Now, things may be watered down now, as I've said. But to think that it was like this then, you're just sadly mistaken. But I'm not going to get into that to prove the point, to some of these things that were happening back in those days. And some of it is well documented already. But I'm not going to get into that because of the stuff that he's saying. I don't want to, bring that sort of thing back up. That's in the past, and though there's still conflict and tension sometimes now, of course, and it's been discussed here on the internet. It's not for me to bring back up to try to prove that we fought back or that the war was even when these wars were going on or what have you, that the blacks are not afraid and we're not afraid of the Southsiders, that they were holding their own and fighting and having a war. It was a back and forth thing. Understand that. But if you were around then you would know that. But I'm not going to get into all that. This is Poetic Flocko. Shout out to Poetic Flocko on his channel. This is his take. I'm just giving my take on it. He has his take and his opinion, and I'm giving mine. And that's it. I can go on and on about this. I would like to break some of this down, but I didn't even want to drudge this back up, this whole racial talk, but I did want to play what he had to say about that situation. And of course, he lumped every LA gang member, black LA gang member, into this whole thing that, all of y'all are scared to death. You know what I'm saying? Definitely afraid. Had it been some blacks that pulled up, it would have been a different story. Y'all are definitely afraid. And, oh, by the way, if a war does happen between a black and brown, or a fight is going on, or a shooting or whatever is going on, Flocko was on record as saying he's rooting for the South Side against you. Just putting it out there. He said it. Y'all take that how y'all want to take it. I know how I take that. I'm not going to say it here. I know how I take that sort of talk. And what I feel like should happen to someone who would say that. This shit is serious. You feel me? I don't play these kind of games, you know what I'm saying? But that's me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure the black community, they're not gonna find a problem with what he said. That's just how we are, bro. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay safe and stay free, people.